everyone, and welcome to the world's most famous podcast. I'm your hostess, Jacqueline Maddison. Today we have a returning, very special guest, renowned psychologist with 50 years of wisdom in trauma healing. Her book, Read, Reflect, Respond, empowers emotional recovery and supports high performers, couples, and youth development for males and females. So get ready for her compassionate insights on personal growth and development. I'm so excited to have her back. She is a wealth of wisdom. Let's welcome Gloria to the show. And remember, if you enjoy these interviews, please like and share. We really appreciate the support. Thanks so much and enjoy the show.
Hello.
Dr. Gloria Vanderhorst, how are you?
I am excellent. How are you?
Doing very well today. Thank you so much. It's such an honor to have you back. I'm so glad you're going to be sharing more of your wisdom with everybody. Let's dive right in. Give us a short backstory first on sort of what sparked your initial passion for psychology and what shaped your personal practice.
All right. The passion for psychology is a wonderful story. I was a math major. I loved math from very young childhood. And I wanted to be a math teacher. And I challenged myself to finish college in 3 years with a straight A.
Impressive.
I was on track to do that my junior year in college. Calculus 2 came into my life as a math major. The teacher faced the blackboard, never turned around to the class.
Oh my goodness.
Talked to the blackboard, wrote with her right hand, erased with her left.
Wow.
I mean, everyone was lost. And I was thrilled to get a D out of that class so I would never have to take it again.
Right.
Yep. And I immediately switched my major and my minor. And my minor was psychology.
Mhm.
I was taking psychology because I just liked it. It was fun. It was challenging. It was very interesting. So it is just one of those times in life, right? When the
Yeah.
world tells you, change directions.
I love that. Yeah, I've always been fascinated by psychology, and I think it's wonderful you've had so much experience with it. And today we're going to delve deeper into the development of young boys to men,
Right.
which I think is such an important topic in today's generation, especially
It's
when
really
there's a
critical.
lot of
Hmm.
confusion in terms of our identities, et cetera, et cetera. So we're really going to get into it, and I'm excited. So
Good.
what sort of mental health practices help strengthen identity development in boys?
Wow, that's a great question. All right. So, in order to facilitate healthy emotional development in boys, we have to start at the preschool level.
Wow. So
And
young.
yeah, and really change the
Yeah.
way that we interact with boys at the preschool level.
Hmm.
Preschools typically are run by women. They are staffed by women. The owners of preschools are women, and they don't understand how different boys are
Hmm.
and how important it is to give them agency with their bodies. They don't want to sit in a circle.
Right.
They want to move, or they want to climb a tree while you're reading the book. Right. And you could do that. There are preschools now that have actually put trees into the room so boys can climb trees and listen to the story that you're reading. But we need to start at that level to
Wow.
really appreciate and understand how different boys are from girls, and they lag behind girls in development by about 3 years.
Really?
If you think about the difference, right? You definitely want to continue interaction with boys and girls, but you don't want to put boys in a situation where they're required to perform in exactly the same way that girls are performing. These are different sexes. They're different people. They develop in different ways with a completely different process. We have to recognize that and change the structure of our preschools.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a silly example, but I have a female and a male dogs, and I noticed that the boy is so much more active and he wants to play and he wants to be aggressive, and she just wants to sit and be calm. And I was totally thinking, wow, that is so indicative of the differences between
Right.
boys and girls.
That's right.
Now,
You've got a great example.
yeah, it was just clear as day to me. And then, but now infant boys or young boys in preschool age, these are young children. They have a broader emotional range than girls. Is that
They do.
correct? Which is
Yeah,
so
they do.
interesting because a lot of times, and a lot of these female teachers think, oh, boys can't be emotional. And I think
Right.
a lot of boys kind of have to suppress their emotional side. But tell us
Yeah.
more about the
Yeah.
importance of the emotional range of young
Right.
boys.
We actually teach them to do that, but boys come into the world with a broader range of emotional expression than girls. They can go higher on the positive and they can go lower on the negative. And by and large, they are raised by women, right? Either a nanny, a mother. The infant interaction typically is with a female. There is change happening. Right. There's a significant increase in the number of husbands who are staying home to raise children while mother goes to work, but that's still a smaller percentage.
Mhm.
And the truth is that men will accept that broader range. Women don't know that they're rejecting it, right? Women only experience a range that's this big. Boys are this big. And so, without knowing it, when your infant boy goes to an extreme, either on the positive end or the negative end, the female has a reaction that trains the boy not to do that. All right. Maybe she'll just move back a little bit. All right. Maybe she'll get a scrunchy look on her face. All right.
Yeah.
Maybe she will just go, oh, right? Do something more dramatic to communicate. I'm not comfortable with that
Right.
range of emotion. So she's not doing it intentionally,
Mhm.
but infants are brilliant. Their survival mechanism is understanding the emotional attachment with the person that's taking care of them.
Right.
So if mother gives any kind of a negative signal, you better believe it. That boy is going to narrow the range of emotional expression for survival,
Wow. So
right?
they're more sensitive to the disciplining or chastening, let's say,
Right.
um, and more adaptive too in that
Right.
sense. And maybe that's why a lot of men have grown up to suppress their emotional self, which I don't believe is necessarily healthy. I do think it's important because men have to develop in a certain way to become men, right? To be the
Right.
leaders, the hunter gatherers, right? Go to
Right.
work, provide, and take on more pressure, either physically or mentally, and
Mhm.
emotionally too. I mean,
Right.
I'm of the mind of the traditional mindset. The man has to take the lead, in the family. But now let's just pivot quickly. How does not having a male father figure in a child's upbringing or development impact him?
Oh,
Because I believe it's
yeah.
paramount and so
There.
necessary for their healthy
That
development.
is truly significant, right?
Mhm.
But male or female, when this boy starts to walk, the culture trains him not to express tender or emotions that are on the sensitive end of the continuum, not to cry,
Right.
right? Not to be needy. I tell parents, tell people, go to a mall,
Yeah.
right? Watch the interaction between, or go to the playground
Right.
between a preschool child, male or female, and the adults in the system, father, mother, any adult, nanny, doesn't make any difference,
Yeah.
right? If the little girl gets hurt on the playground or rejected in some way, she's distressed. She goes up to the adult. She gets picked up and asked what happened. Little boy, same thing, distress. He's either hurt or he's been rejected on the playground. He goes up to the adult. The adult asks, what happened? If he gives a good enough response, he will get picked up and receive comfort.
Wow. Wow.
That's huge.
Yeah. So, in
Right.
other words, their emotional needs aren't being
Correct.
met
You're not
the
validated,
same as
right?
a young
Oh,
girl's. Right.
well, if they have emotional needs, they are not validated.
Wow.
Right? It's subtle, right? Because, hey, I don't make physical contact with you. I don't pick you up. I paid attention to you,
Hmm.
right? But I didn't do what a toddler actually processes with more power, which is, did you touch me? Did you hold me? Did you pick me up? Did you pat me on the head? Did you touch me in
Right.
some way? Touch is very powerful
It
for young
is.
children. And if I don't touch you and I just send you back to go back to the playground and play with everybody else, I have sent you a message that your emotional needs are not that important.
Wow. Now, how does this invalidation for young boys manifest into their teenage years and going into, early adulthood? Because I would imagine this is why boys become aggressive and don't really know how to channel their emotions in a
Right,
healthy way.
right. We have robbed them of that opportunity. And so in adolescence, when all these hormones dump into your body,
Yeah.
you are very actively in touch with feeling states that you are experiencing. The
Right.
culture, however, has already trained you as a male that you are not to acknowledge being needy, right? Being sad, being
Right.
worried, right? Having any feelings on the negative end of the continuum. You're supposed to take risks. You're supposed to be brave. You're supposed to stand up. You're supposed to be courageous.
Right.
All of those we will accept from you. But if you doubt yourself, if you're worried about whether you're going to be, included in the group or make the cut for your particular athletic experience or be accepted in the chess club, right? None of those things. You cannot be anxious. You cannot be worried. You cannot be sad.
Right.
Right? You cannot be needy. We have just eliminated that for boys. And so the frustration level increases. All right. That's why
Yeah.
boys kind of tease each other. They're
Right.
bumping each other all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
Right?
you notice that they are expressing this
Right.
through physical
That's right.
aggression.
That's right. They're bumping into each other. They're wrestling with each other.
Uh-huh.
They're experimenting with, am I okay by doing it physically? Or
Right.
do you accept me as a physical being?
And that this now fast forwarding into adulthood and even in personal relationships like marriage, let's say, for example, men, their primary form of or love language is physical.
Right.
even if it's, but with his wife, it's still physical, whereas
That's
she needs the emotional validation.
that's right.
He's been groomed,
Right.
developed, or conditioned in such a way where it's for him, the connection, the closeness, the intimacy is proven with the physical touch.
That's right. That's
Wow.
absolutely
But this
right.
reminds
So,
me too of for men listening because of King David. I don't know if you know of him, but he was in the Torah, Jewish Torah, he was a king. He was a mighty warrior, or the Christian
mhm,
Bible. And he
mhm.
fought many battles, like we're talking bloody wars, right?
Right.
But in
Absolutely.
the Psalms, he pours out his heart to God. He literally gets so emotional and vulnerable with his
Mhm.
emotional expression, that's why I want to encourage men that being vulnerable, being in touch with your emotions is it doesn't make you not
Healthy.
masculine. Yeah,
Healthy.
it enhances your masculinity because it helps you to be more whole as a person.
Right. It
So,
enhances your humanity. The
yes.
reason men die younger than women,
Yeah.
this very thing that you've just described, right? They are not allowed to express themselves emotionally. So where does all that tension go, right? It goes into heart disease, it goes into diabetes, it goes into alcoholism. I mean, all of that tension goes into physical complaints.
Wow. So, how, for, let's say, parents listening or teachers, supervisors of young boys, how can they adjust their behaviors and approach to young boys so that we can allow them the space, the safe space
Mhm.
to express their emotions and feel validated in doing so?
Well, we started with, the at the preschool level, you could change the physical environment, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, because I feel a lot of chilled boys mostly are misdiagnosed ADHD.
Mhm.
Oh, he's not sitting still during, like you said, reading time. Well,
Right,
yes, he's a boy. He needs to
right.
move. He's, like you said, they need this
Right.
physical agency. There's
Yeah,
nothing wrong with him mentally. He's just being a little boy. He's got
right.
all this energy. So, yeah, I love that. Accommodating the physical environment in understanding of their needs, physical
Right,
needs.
right.
It doesn't
And
mean he's not listening to the
that's
story,
right. That's absolutely true,
you
right?
know?
You can be walking around the room and still
Right.
be processing every piece of the story. He does not
Exactly.
have to sit in the circle, right?
Right.
Give me a break.
Totally. Totally. Yeah, give the little boy a break. I mean, come
Right,
on. Yeah.
right. And
So,
so it is important that we change our approach beginning at the preschool level. It's also important that we educate both men and women that boys are different, right? And you have to adjust to that difference. And that because women don't have the same range of emotion, we have to raise our consciousness about accepting more intense feeling states, positive or negative, from a boy and
right.
not make that a message that you send to them that there's something wrong with them. There's nothing wrong with them,
Right.
right? This
Yeah.
this range of feeling states is adaptive, right? If you're a caveman, I want you being super brave to go out, right? I want you to be passionate about killing something and bringing it back to the cave, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Because I think male or female, we are emotional creatures.
Right.
The life experience is an emotional
It
journey and a journey of
is.
self-discovery. So from babyhood,
Right.
preschool, what do you call that age? Like there's a term for it.
Oh, I'm not sure what term you're.
I don't know. Okay, so my memory fails me at the moment. But at that age, from like when they're toddlers to the whole phase of development, and even into adulthood, even still today,
Mhm.
men need emotional validation. I look at married men and I see in their marriages that a lot of times the marital issues is because of emotional invalidation, either from the female or the male. And a lot
Correct.
of times a man, he can have the most beautiful wife, the house, the car, the seemingly American dream, and yet he strays.
Right.
He cheats. Why
Hmm.
on earth would he cheat? Because of emotional invalidation.
Right. Absolutely.
Wow.
Mm.
So that's how it manifests later on. So it's so important, little boys and young boys in their teenage years and then into adulthood, get this emotional validation. Again, give us more tips for how parents or siblings, what can we do to emotionally validate men in our
Yeah,
lives?
let's start with wives or
Mm,
partners, right?
okay.
Because even though women say that they want a man who can be more emotionally expressive,
Hmm.
the truth of the matter is, right, first of all, I said earlier, women have a narrower range of emotional expression. So when the man gets more intense on the positive end, more intense on the negative end, the female is very uncomfortable, doesn't want to engage, tends to withdraw. All right, those are extremes. But let's put you just in the normal range, right? And your husband comes home from work and he's disappointed. Something has happened that day that causes distress, right? So he's not good at taking a deep dive into the emotional impact of that. He will give you the headline, right?
Right.
Headline is, I got screwed today. Joe Schmo got a promotion that I deserve,
Right.
right?
Uh-huh.
That's a powerful headline.
Yeah.
And if you look at what the wife's response is, all right, it's empathy. I'm so sorry,
Uh-huh.
right? But it isn't curiosity. It
Mm.
isn't sit down, tell me more.
Right.
It's assurance of some kind, that's awful. They shouldn't have done that to you. Maybe you should look for a new job or it'll be your turn next time. They're prescriptions, right? It's
Right.
not interest in what's happening emotionally for that guy.
Right.
It terminates the interaction rather than expanding the
So
interaction.
what is the right questions then to ask him?
The right question is, right, let me put aside everything I'm doing.
Right.
This is really important,
Yeah.
right? Let's
Yeah,
sit
because for
down.
him it's a pretty big blow.
Yep. Let's sit down. Tell me
Right.
more.
Yeah.
Right? I just want to encourage the dump
Yeah.
because we are stressed, male or female. The
Mhm.
first thing we want to do is to dump. We don't want to problem solve.
Right, true. And we
First,
need to dump. We
we need
need to
to
get
dump.
it off our chest because
Right.
that's when it and I say there's no healing without tears and sometimes crying it out, but the frustration and this is why men too must not be ashamed to cry because it's healthy to release those emotions of frustration and disappointment, sadness, whatever it is. If you bottle
Right.
that, it bottles and eventually explodes in rage, violence.
Or it goes into your body and makes you sick. However, all right, so the male is not going to go to tears first. The male is going to go
Right,
to anger first,
right.
right? You have to be capable of receiving that
Hmm.
and knowing that that's a healthy thing to do. And
Right.
anger is a secondary feeling, always. Anger is a
Right.
secondary feeling. And that the sadness will come next. So you have to be present with the anger in
Right.
order to run through that to get to the disappointment, to get to the sadness, to get to the self-doubt, and all the other things that accompany it.
It's such a good point because, again, if we have the understanding boys are more aggressive, more physical, in their adolescence, that's how they communicate, connect. So
Yeah.
when they're a man and he comes home and he's pissed off about something, a woman might be intimidated. She might
Right.
even get offended, which is the
Right.
wrong attitude, as
Wrong
you're saying.
too.
It's
Right.
the wrong reaction to his aggressive tone or attitude because
Right.
he's processing emotions and it's his natural first instinct to be aggressive about it, right? Oh, I love
Right.
this. This is good. So if
Yeah, it's
wives
his
learn,
it's his social training to be
yeah,
aggressive, right? We've robbed him of his natural instinct. So
mm,
it's social training to be aggressive, irritated, angry first, and then be able to get to the disappointment, the frustration, the sadness, the self-deprecating experiences that would be normal and natural with that
right.
experience.
So for all you women out there, wives, even mothers dealing with, boys,
Yeah.
um, be patient with them. Don't welcome their anger because that's their first response to
Mm.
their hits in life, and we all have them. Women maybe get emotional first, but men
Right.
maybe get aggressive, angry,
Right.
frustrated.
Dangerous. Right.
But know that that's the doorway to them opening up emotionally if you can validate it and
Yeah.
give them the space to
That's a
explore
great
it, right?
word, right? That you said doorway. That's a great word. Yeah.
Right?
Right. Because that opens up possibilities, right? I can
Yes.
go into this huge ballroom
Yes.
and
And explore the emotional depth of his feelings.
right.
Yeah.
That's great. I
Yeah.
love it.
It's incredible. So, let's see. What else? How can fathers how can fathers model vulnerability or emotional openness,
Yeah,
transparency for their sons?
yeah, there are tons of, well, maybe not tons, but there are numerous organizations across the United States that are developing for men. All right. There are group organizations that are focused on emotional development for men. So they have group meetings, they have educational meetings, they have retreats, and the focus is really on accepting yourself as a male who has feeling states.
Right.
Finding a group of other men that you can explore and experiment with actually having feelings and disclosing feeling states to other
Right.
men. It is just a beautiful experience. So I would,
Yeah, it's true. I know of some young boys like 18, 17, and they're in some sort of program or something, and they participate in group therapies. And these group therapies are fantastic and because they're allowing the boys to express, to be comfortable with their feelings and sharing it with others and not bottling it and channeling it into violence.
right. There are also numerous books that have been written recently that are aimed at fathers and how to be a better father to your son.
Oh, yes,
You know,
absolutely.
there place it, go on Amazon, find a book, right?
Yeah,
Read.
And
Not
it's so true.
time.
We as human beings, we mustn't be lazy with our emotional and our spiritual growth and development. Read the books, read
Right.
the self-improvement books, read books about parenting, about fathering, about being a mother. We have to grow and we grow by learning and
Right.
changing and transforming, so it just
And join groups that will challenge you to grow. That's how we
exactly.
learn. We learn from each other and from immersing ourselves into things that might at first feel uncomfortable, but are better for us in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what signs show that a boy needs mental health or development support? Like, what are true signs
Yeah.
that, okay, maybe
So
something is
there are
wrong
kind of
here? Not
there's
with him, but with
two
whether it's the
directions.
parenting style.
Yeah, there are two directions you can look at. So the boy that comes home and isolates himself,
Mm,
I'm in his room, that just seems a bit awkward, a little too long. Everybody
right.
else in the house is a little uncomfortable. Mom or dad are uncomfortable. That isolation
Yeah.
is a concern.
Yes.
And the other is the boy who is emotionally acting out in some way. All
Uh,
right. That's the guy that, instead of isolating in his room, sneaks out the window
right.
and
Yeah. Or
goes
is like breaking windows
or,
and being
being aggressive or
yeah.
picking on siblings,
Hmm.
getting in trouble at school, all of those things. So you want to look at those endpoints and appreciate that those are real strong signals that the child is sending, that
Right.
I need help. I don't really understand myself. I don't know what to do next. Come and pay attention to me.
Yes, I
So
love that. Yeah,
often,
so that's good to know that there will be clear indicators or signs obvious that are obvious. Now, so what are the appropriate interventions then at that point?
so there, once again, all right, getting a child engaged in therapy, getting the family engaged in therapy, putting the child into groups, uh, so that emotions can be explored.
Mm,
I have a real simple tool that I send out to families that I work with, and it's 3 pages of feeling words. Each page has 3 columns on it, right? So there are tons of feeling words on these 3 pages. And I say, copy this, put one on the kitchen table, one in the family room, one in the bedroom, so that when your child is obviously struggling to express, your brain is brilliant. Your brain can recognize the feeling that you are experiencing. Just scan those pages, and the word will just jump off the page.
oh, wow, I see what you mean. Like immediate
Oh,
emotional
yeah.
recognition. That's
Yep.
it. Oh, wow, that's
Yep.
brilliant.
And then you can have a conversation, right? But if you look at the feeling language of let's say, a teenage boy, right? It's, I'm angry, I'm irritated, I'm pissed. These are all anger related feeling states. And I
Right.
will tell you, anger is a secondary emotion, not a primary emotion. You
Right.
feel something else first, and
Hmm.
then you go to anger to escape what the primary is. So if you just scan through these list of feeling words, your brain will pop out the actual feeling that you're experiencing. Then we can have a real conversation.
So it could be rejection, it could be
It could be
disappointment, it
anything.
could be sadness,
Demoralized.
right?
Yeah, right. I'm
Wow.
sad, I'm demoralized, I've been rejected, I'm
Insecurity, whatever.
insecure. Yeah, could be anything.
How does sports play a part in successful emotional development of boys? And is it necessary, or what do you think?
Yeah, I think groups are necessary, and sports are
Mm,
groups. All right. First of
Right.
all, I want to be accepted. All
Yeah.
right? So my first opportunity for acceptance is my family. My second
Right.
opportunity for acceptance is some kind of a group, whether that's sports or the chess club,
Right.
right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah. Yeah, some
the
boys
drama
aren't into sports,
club.
but they're
I,
they're
I
into
need
right.
I need to be in a group that is outside of my family
Right.
so that I know that I belong in the world outside of my family.
Right.
So it's powerful to have a sense of acceptance. Sports do that for guys. Are there downsides to the way that they do that? Absolutely. Could it be improved? Absolutely.
Right.
It could be improved, but it's the system that we have at this point. So let's take advantage of it and make it more productive for boys. It should not be an opportunity to be teased or harassed.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So now, in middle school, high school, what strategies are effective, let's say, in helping boys deal with peer pressure? A lot of times that peer pressure does lead them to drug use, sexual activity, which
Right.
should be, not until marriage, or violence. Oh, how what strategies can a parent implement or someone close to a developing young man to deal with peer pressure? Is it conversations? Is it friendship with, what's the best way?
It's really attention,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
So you cannot wait for the boy to come to you. You have to have some regular rituals that give your child the attention that he needs, right? And it's also true, it's much easier for a child, basically at any age, to disclose more if they are not facing you. All right. So put them
Really?
oh yeah, put them in a car. All right. Everybody,
Interesting.
everybody's
Right.
facing forward. All right. Have a ritual of putting them to bed at night so that you're not facing them. All
Uh-huh.
right. You're sitting next and everybody's facing the same direction. Find a place to be able to sit with them and not have a face to face. All right. It's so easy. We read facial expression,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Uh, and so if the boy is reading my facial expression, he will stop
Ah,
and not disclose, right? If I'm
yeah.
driving and he's in the passenger seat, is not reading my face,
Yeah.
right? And he's much more likely to continue to disclose and express.
So something as simple as a, hey, let's go for a walk, bud. Or, hey, let's go for a quick bike ride around the
Right,
block.
right,
Boys will
right.
love to do that. And I mean,
That's right.
for me, my idea is I think having a friendship with your children gives an outlet for emotional connection and transparency. Because if a
Yeah.
child, female or male, feels like they can't tell you everything,
Mhm.
then I don't think that's healthy. For my parents always allowed that. So I always felt like I could
Right.
go to my parents and tell them everything. And I think that was very helpful through my growing up. Gloria, thank you so much for being on the show today. You have shared some incredible insights for how parents and teachers can more effectively raise young boys and guide them in their personal emotional development in a healthy and effective way. And for those of you who are listening and watching, visit drvanderhorst.com to work with her to start sessions with your son and to ensure that he grows into a healthy an emotionally stable young man. Again, thank you, Dr. Van. It's always an honor, and we look forward to chatting with you again in the future. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Please be sure to like and share the video. We appreciate the support. God bless you, and we'll see you in the next episode.